I'm Jenny Carlson here with Darnell Mayberry. This is your Thunder Update brought to you by Bob Moore Ford. We're at Texas Military Institute on the outskirts of San Antonio, where today the Thunder prepared for Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals against the Spurs. And Darnell, a lot of people talking about Serge Ibaka, his absence. A report out there, maybe he could come back. That's unlikely, isn't it?
He's not coming back. I think it's bogus. I mean, the guy has a grade 2 calf strain. I don't know what that means, but it sounds serious. I don't think he's coming back. Sam Presti has said it. Scott Brooks has said it. Kevin Durant has said it. Everyone has been on record saying Serge Ibaka is not coming back. This is not an organization that messes around with injuries. We've seen that in the past time and time again. I don't think we can expect to see Serge.
Okay, so no Serge. So what did the Thunder do in his absence, Darnell? Their best stretch of Game 1 was in the third quarter, offensively and defensively. They really kind of turned the tide. What can they take from that and moving ahead and maybe try to duplicate that in Game 2?
Well, I think they have to play with much better energy and effort. That's what we saw in quarter number 3 that they didn't really play with in quarter number 1. I think that's where it starts, and Derek Fisher talked a lot about that at practice today. If they just come out with more focus and concentration defensively, that can get their offense going. Russell Westbrook was aggressive there in that third quarter, and their defense was able to get them offense. So I think it's a combination of things, but you know, everyone wants to talk about lineup changes and all of that, but I think they really need to just come out and focus on playing harder, playing with more energy and effort from the start, and having that focus and concentration that they need from the beginning.
Nick Collison talked today about the fact that if they don't play better to start with, all of the finagling of lineups and the changes isn't going to make a whole lot of difference, because they just have to start better. And they have to start better on Tim Duncan, because he showed that if given the chance, he can really impact the game. The guy's 38 years old, Darnell. How in the heck is he doing this?
Well, Father Time hasn't caught up with him, apparently. I mean, the guy is incredible for his age. But I think what the Spurs did was really get him in the pick and roll and have some success with Tony Parker feeding him. And then he was also making, as Scott Brooks said after the game, some long-range jump shots that really got him going. Those are shots that the Thunder can live with. He just happened to be making a lot of them in that first half of Game 1. So if they can play the pick and roll better in Game 2, and hopefully Tim Duncan will miss some, I think the Thunder's defense will look much better on him.
All right, let's hear what the Thunder players had to say today after practice.
Well, they played almost perfect last game, especially on the offensive end. But we have to be perfect as well, as far as our energy and our effort has to be there every play. And schemes, sometimes won't work, or pick and roll coverage won't work sometimes, but our effort has to be there. And I think that against this team, you can't take plays off, so we realize that.
I mean, yeah, they did a good job of making shots, but we gave them shots. I mean, we gave them open shots. We gave them the paint. We let them get in the paint. So it wasn't like, they just basically kicked our butts, but we just kind of gave them the game.
I think we know we could have played it harder, and that's the main adjustment that we're going to make. Just play harder from start to finish, and that's what the conclusion that we had after Game 1 against the Clippers. So on that aspect, I think it's similar.
You can't always win just by playing hard and playing with great effort, but that definitely was a problem for us last night. Not because guys didn't want to, but from what we saw, it just wasn't there for long enough periods of time. And that's something that regardless of, lineups, who's in, who's out, that has to be consistent in order to win in the playoffs, and in particular, in the conference finals.
We got to attack more. They're a team that relies on, having you shoot tough two-pointers. But I think, last game, that third quarter especially, we attacked. Our offense wasn't bad last game. It could be better, but it wasn't terrible. Our defense was a concern. So, offensively, we got to continue to trust with the pass, move our bodies, and be aggressive.
Yeah, you never get too low on the loss. Same thing that happened to us in the Clippers series. We didn't know what to expect. They came out and they punched us in the mouth. And then now it's about how you go bounce back. This was going to test your character right here, so you could mope and hope everybody feels sorry for you, or you could just go out there and get this game too.
All right, Game 2 is 8 o'clock on Wednesday here in San Antonio. Darnell, as much as it's been made of lineup changes and things that could be done potentially to help in the absence of Serge Ibaka, isn't option 1 and 1A or 1A and 1B, or however that goes. Isn't that really Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook?
No doubt about it. I mean, these two are the superstars on this team. They have to be superstars in this series. In the fourth quarter, they weren't. They combined to score 7 points on 2 of 6 shooting. They had 4 turnovers between them. Manu Ginobili outscored them by himself. So they have to be able to have a great series, and they've got to be able to close the game. And until we see that in Game 2, we might not see the Thunder win and split, which is what they're trying to do here in San Antonio.
All right, Thunder Update brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, and be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.